Alright, guys, today we are going to be visiting the subreddit r/entitled people. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to jump right in and see how entitled these people really are. So let's find out, shall we? Our first story is: my entitled father and stepmother kidnapped me, resulting in me having trust issues. Wow. Just from the title alone. Whew. I can only imagine. Before I start, this happened in 2018, on the 25th of December, and ended in April or May of 2019, when I was 10/11. Okay, so not only did this not happen that long ago, but you were 10? And here I thought that I had a crazy childhood. On Christmas, I went to my Nana's for the day and did what any kid would do on Christmas. My entitled dad was there with entitled stepmom, who were talking to other adults. When it came time for everyone to leave, my entitled stepmom was telling me and my brother to go with them, which I thought nothing of, because I thought I was staying over with them for a week. Oh boy, I was wrong. When it came to the second month, my entitled stepmom was trying to get me to call her mom. I don't remember the whole conversation, but I think it went like this. Her mom, entitled no, call me mom. I am your mom now, so don't worry. I meant entitled stepmom. A day later, she was asking if I wanted to go back to my real mom, and I felt like I was being forced to say no. The thing that made me say I wanted to go home was this. My entitled dad said, the night before I threw up and couldn't call for them. Man, some people need to learn how to type. Because I didn't feel right, because this was the first time hadn't seen my dad in a while. Had seen my dad in a while. Gosh, I need to preview these sometimes. And in the morning, I got shouted at. Why didn't you tell anyone instead of being lazy? Actually do something for once. This was the thing that did it. When I got asked if I wanted to go home, I said yes, because I was done with them. Another thing is, they didn't even celebrate my birthday. Sometimes I forget to mention, throughout the time I spent with them, that A, they changed my second name, so your middle name. B, sent me to a different school. C, lied to me. And D, ruined every holiday for me. Not too long ago, entitled stepmom made me cut full contact with everyone on her side of the family because I was apparently dating a 10-year-old. Because all I did was swear. I didn't have a filter, but as of right now, I'm fine with my language. I barely use curse words anymore. They have 2 kids, and only one I have actually contact with from time to time. Okay, this story was wild because mainly I couldn't make contact with what was going on, but yeah. Kidnapping your kids is never okay, and definitely an entitled thing to do. Our next story: entitled mom only cares about my potential to produce grandchildren for her. So I'm forced to go on a trip to America, which I had to pay for my own ticket. My mom doesn't speak much English and needs help getting around. The purpose is to visit my aunt because she is sick. And I wouldn't mind, but it's for 2 weeks. I only wanted to go for 1 week. My mom is very pushy and a manipulative person. Yesterday, she was like, "You should dye your hair with highlights so you can look pretty. A girl needs to look pretty, especially if you're going to America." We have all kinds of colored hair here, so I don't think anybody cares. I literally told her reasons why I didn't want to. Because last time I got highlights, it damaged my hair a lot. And a lot of people said it aged me. Okay, so that's very good reasons for not wanting to do anything to your hair because it like damaged it. And anybody who's had any woman who has had damaged hair knows how long it takes to get the damaged hair out of your hair, because literally, unless you want to like cut all of your hair off and have a pixie cut, which some of us cannot rock, that's pretty much the only way to get the damaged hair off, is to cut it out and then let your natural hair grow back. And even then, sometimes there's still damaged hair that you didn't quite catch because it was just too hard to see. So I totally can see where you're coming here from. Then she kept bugging me yesterday and today. So every time she sees a woman with dyed hair or highlights, then she's like, "Oh, that woman has awesome highlights," or something like that. It's just frustrating to me. Today my uncle came over, then my mom complained to him, and he doesn't even seem to care because it's everyone's personal choice, which it totally is. Never let your significant other or people in your life, if you are a woman, tell you that, whatever that you do with your hair is wrong or whatever. Because you are allowed to make that choice. It is your hair. Now, if it is breaking some sort of rule, like especially if you were in school or something like that, that is a totally separate thing. He was just there to grab a tool for us, and then she's complaining about my hair choices. My mom's always been pushy about my life choices. I'm fed up, to be honest. I'm an adult, by the way, with a full-time job, and I pay the bills. I honestly think I should move out, but my mom is Asian and is old, so her values are very old-fashioned. Look, I don't think it even matters what ethnicity your parents are. My grandmother is a very old traditional white lady, and she didn't want me to do anything to my hair until I turned 18 and had taken my senior pictures because she wanted me to have natural hair that had absolutely nothing done with it for my senior pictures. So every person is different and they have different ideals, but at the end of the day, your hair is yours. But yes, while you are under your parents' roof, you should listen to what they have to say because, they're kind of paying for you to live under their roof, unless you're paying your own bills, which if you're paying your own bills, you could move out and then you make your own decisions. But, it's neither here nor there, and I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I don't know how to speak to her without her getting upset or defensive. I don't want to be pushed over because I can be at times, but I put my foot down for once, and then she acts like that. It's just frustrating. I remember when I was 22, I went out on a date with a guy, and then she got super weird about it. She called my brother and was like, "Tell her not to do anything with him." Then my brother told me a week after, "I think I need to break things off this toxic cycle that she has. She's very manipulative and irritating." I hate speaking about my mom like this, but it's gotten to a point where she really pisses me off. like, I can completely understand this. Some parents, especially parents of girls, I'm not saying parents of boys can't do it, because parents of boys can, but some parents of boys can be, or girls can be super into what their girls are doing and all that other stuff, because they have made their life about their child. Again, this could happen to boys too. Your parents' life has been all about what, you. And now that you're older and you're out of the house, they have nothing to fall back on. They don't have an identity outside of you. So it's very hard for them to let go. And that comes off as manipulative and toxic. And I'm not trying to justify it, but that is kind of what it comes off of as, coming from a woman who had a manipulative, toxic, narcissistic mother who has since done a lot of growing and changing for the better. So it happens. I believe this is our last story. I don't want to speak too soon. Entitled Mother Steals My Cousin, runs off with ex, and she's not answering our calls or text. With the cousin's ex or her own ex, I'm a little confused. I guess we'll find out in the story. This is going to be a doozy, so be prepared. If anything, my uncle, who I will call Dan, is basically my brother. Dan is 27 and I'm 13, so the age difference wasn't huge. That's not a huge age difference to you? That's a pretty daggum huge age difference to me. That's 14 years. That's a huge age difference. Whatever. I don't see him as often anymore, however. He's just been busy with work at his bar. Dan would always joke about how he could never have a kid because he is too much of one himself. Despite this, a girl he had on one night stay with him, we'll call her Kim. People really need to think about how they word sentences, because that was just a weird sentence. Kim came by his bar while he was working and drunkenly tells Dan that he's a father, and his daughter's already 5 months old. We had a DNA test, and yes, he's the father. I could maybe imagine my uncle having a son, but never a daughter. When we first met my uncle's daughter, my cousin, or Mary as we'll call her, and I instantly fell in love with the little bundle of joy. To give further information, Kim had lied to her parents, saying that her boyfriend at the time, we'll call him Pietro, was the real father. I mean, okay, I can get it. You're young. Maybe you don't know who the father is, immediately, especially if you're sleeping around with more than one person. But, I mean, you need to figure your crap out when you're doing that mess, because your child deserves to have their real father in their life. People, I swear. It's important to note that Pietro was Indian, and when the baby was born, it became more and more apparent that he wasn't the father when the baby became more and more white. I wonder what the mother was, because that kind of is important too. The parents made Kim tell them who the real father was 5 months after Mary was born. Since then, we've been frequently taking care and watching Mary. We've built a great relationship with Kim, even though she prevented Dan from seeing the birth of his first daughter. Again, maybe she really wasn't clear on Dan actually being the real birth father. Maybe she really didn't know. Give her some grace. Dan and Kim got together since he wanted to see his daughter, but now it had been 2 months since we met Mary, and she was also 7 months. It was my aunt's birthday, She was 17, apparently. Also, the closest thing I've had to a sister. Mary was there, cute as always. Her appearance around our house had become normal at this point. After me and my mother left, Mary stayed over at my grandparents'. The next morning, Kim messaged Grandma, telling her to take Remy to an aunt's house. Who's Remy? This is the first time you're mentioning Remy. Who is Remy? My grandparents sent the address to Dan asking if it was an aunt's house since we didn't know that Kim had a sister. Okay, so it's Kim's sister, I guess. Oh. And he said that the address was her ex Piedro's house. Instead, Dan and my grandfather went to her parents' house where Kim was. There, she was acting crazy and freaking out. Dan gave her a day to calm down so they could maybe work out a custody arrangement. That left Mary with Kim's parent. They left Mary with Kim's parents and left. Little did they know that Pietro was waiting in his car and after Dan left, picked up Kim and Mary. She hasn't been responding to our texts. I guess she thinks she's going to start a family with this man. It's important to note that Pietro had threatened Kim's parents many times and was generally a bad man. Luckily, Kim's parents sided with us, saying they would get us the best lawyer and even give us money. We simply just want Mary back. Kim would actually send a parent photo of the paternity test to her dad and used whiteout to get rid of Dan's name and replace it with Piedro's. She didn't know that the dad was on our side, though, so it will help. She's really this entitled to steal my uncle's child and lie about it not being his so she can have her fantasy with a deranged psychopath. It's only been 24 hours since this happened, so I'll keep you notified. That is psychotic level behavior. You're going to take a child away from its biological parent and then fabricate that it belongs to another man. Is that what I'm led to believe? But the man who is the legal father knows all about this, along with his family. And you're just cruising for a lawsuit here. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. You're not going to get away with this. Yeah, you're definitely entitled. And I hope that they sue. I hope that, what was the name they gave the uncle? Dan. I hope that Dan sues you and gets full custody of this baby because you don't deserve to be around it if this is how you're gonna act. And I don't want people coming for me in the comments because of this, but behavior like this tells me that you don't deserve to be in this baby's life unless you calm the heck down and show that you can behave. But it's mess like this that will get your child taken away from you. So you need to slow the heck down and reevaluate. But hey, if you liked this video, and please consider subscribing to my channel for more videos like this. And I'll see you next time. Bye.